If blade selection is pertinent or at the very core of getting quality cuts, then we must be able to decipher or interpret technical data that is associated with the cutting blade. Technical data or jargon isn't as daunting as it seems once you get the hang of it. In this section, we will be reviewing 8 blades whose applications are for chipboards, composite materials, hardwood and softwood. This blade has got a 20mm bore, 9200 RPM. The rim size is 165mm or 6.5 inches and the kerf thickness is 1.8mm. It's got 24 teeth, which means it's particularly suited for ripping wood. It has latch gullet, so you'll be getting coarse cuts. It's got stamped caveats on its steel plate. It's got, the open expansion technology, which is the old technology, so it's going to be noisy. But you probably would be able to get the job done in no time, as, you'd probably get fast, coarse cuts, get long fibers off your wood. Along its grain, the next blade's rim size is 165mm or 6.5 inches. It's got a 20mm bore, 9200 RPM, a 2mm kerf and 40 teeth. It's got more teeth, but it is at the threshold for ripping, so it can be used for medium ripping and cross cutting. It could either be a combination or general purpose blade, but there is no way of telling without opening up the packaging. You should get a fast cut, but will be noisy as it is the old technology with open expansion slots. The next blade has got a slightly larger rim at 185mm or 7.1/4 in comparison to the blades 1 and blades 2. It's got a kerf of 2.2mm, 20 teeth and a 30mm bore with an 8200 RPM. 20 teeth denotes a ripping blade, and fast cut. I wouldn't be using this for medium ripping and cross cutting, but solely as a dedicated ripping blade. It's pretty much up to you. The next blade's rim size is 185mm or 7.1/4. It's got a 2mm kerf and a 20mm bore. It's got 36 teeth, which means it's got more teeth than your conventional 24T ripping blade. And the gullet here would be a lot more smaller. And again, it's closer to the lower limit threshold for combination or general purpose blades. So this blade should give fast cuts, and can be used for medium ripping and cross cutting. And you should have a more refined coarse cut finish. The blade on the inside could be a ripping blade with more teeth and a smaller gullet. The next blade has got a 210mm or 8.1/4 inch rim size, a 2.2mm kerf, a 7200 RPM and a 30mm bore. It's got 20 teeth, which connote a coarse cutting, and a ripping blade with large gullets. HS means high-speed steel, and HW on all saw blades connote a robust tungsten carbide. For longevity and fast cutting, it's pretty much adept for all types of wood, laminates and plastic. The next blade has got a 210mm 8.1/4 inch size rim, a 2.2mm kerf, a 6500 RPM and a bore of 30mm with smaller gullets. Can be used for medium ripping and cross cutting, so I'd be more inclined to say this is a general purpose blade or a combo or combination blade. The next blade has got a 10 inch or 254mm sized rim, a 2.5mm kerf and a 30mm bore. 6000 RPM and 40 teeth, so could be a combo or a general purpose blade. The last blade has got a 250mm or a 10 inch sized rim approximately, a 2.8 kerf and a 30mm bore, an RPM of 6000 and an 80 teeth, which implies that you really could be getting a fine cut off from this blade with 80 teeth. It could be a general purpose, a combo or composite blade. And although all 8 blades are recommended for chipboards, composite materials, hard and soft wood, some blades are particularly more suited for natural wood and some for man-made manufactured boards. They have all got the open expansion slots and stamped steel, so they are noisy and economy blades. And so next we will be reviewing some DeWalt saw blades. We've got one 40 teeth saw blade and two 24 teeth saw blades, all of which have got a 216mm rim and a 30mm bore center. Each blade has got open expansion slots, so they're more prone to vibration, noise and blade warp. It is more probable that the 40 teeth is a combination or general purpose blade, as it's got, smaller gullets. And 40 teeth falls within the tooth configuration for a combination blade. The other two blades have got 24 teeth or fewer teeth, with larger gullets and maybe more suited for ripping applications. All three blades are economy blades. The combination blade may not rip or cross-cut as good as a dedicated ripping or cross-cut blade, but they will do a pretty good job of both. And like I said, the 40 teeth combo or general purpose blade is the optimum blade if you want to leave one blade, in your tool, as opposed to changing your blade every now and then, especially if you find it laborious to do so. Next, we're going to look at 5 Freud quality blades. This 24 teeth saw blade has got a 190mm rim diameter, a 2.4mm kerf and a 30mm bore. It's got a 15-degree bevel and a 15-degree hook or rake angle. The 15-degree positive hook or rake angle essentially means that the blade would cut more aggressively. The blade deploys a laser cut expansion slot, which essentially helps to reduce noise and vibration and also helps to prevent warp. The laser cut expansion slots are resin filled slots. The 24 teethed or tooth blade essentially means that it's more suited for ripping applications. But if we also take cognizance of the positive rake or hook angle at 15 degrees, it could also indicate that it is a general purpose blade, as the hook on a typical all-purpose blade is anywhere between 15 to 20 degrees. Whilst blades designed specifically for ripping applications are usually 20 degrees. So essentially, this is an all-purpose blade. You'd get great finishes for your ripping, and you can use to, cut along and across the grain of the wood, if you also want to cross-cut, okay? So it will do a pretty good job of both ripping and cross-cutting. But you might be better off using this as a ripping blade, as it's got larger gullets and can extend the application for cross-cutting, as it's got a positive rake or hook angle at 15 degrees. The blade teeth is made up of titanium carbide, which is extremely harder than your tungsten carbide. They tend to provide fast, no chip and perfect cuts. This blade is particularly suited for cutting along and across the grain of woods. The positive hook angle essentially means a faster feed and more pull on the blade, as opposed to a negative hook angle, which prevents climbing of the wood or self-feeding of the wood. It's also got a Perma shield incorporated, which withstands the toughest applications and provides thermal insulation. The Perma shield also helps to protect against corrosion and eliminates resin buildup, thus reducing downtime for cleaning. The next quality blade has got a 190mm rim size, a 30mm bore, a 2.4mm kerf and a 48 teeth blade. All them blades shown in this exposition have got the laser cut open expansion slots, or resin filled slots, which indicates that they are quality blades, as opposed to economy blades, which have got the open hole technology and stamped blades with small teeth. This quality blade has got bigger teeth or tooth sizes. It's got a hook or rake angle of 10 degrees, so it's not a very aggressive feed, as the smaller the hook angle, the more pressure is required to feed the workpiece. The previous blade has got a slightly more aggressive feed as the hook angle was 15 degrees. Suffice to say, blades with a 0 or negative hook angle are better suited for your radial arm saws and miter saws because they prevent self-feeding or climb cutting. The blade type tooth configuration is an alternate top bevel, as the bevel tooth angle is 15 degrees. In general, an alternate top bevel tooth configuration, which falls within the range of 10 to 20 degrees typical, is an all-purpose ripping and cross-cutting blade. And so, if the bevel of this blade is 15 degrees, I would be inclined to say that this is an all-purpose ripping and cross-cutting blade, okay? Which can be used for medium ripping and cross-cutting. And that's because an Optimum ripping blade has got about 24 teeth, whilst a cross-cutting blade is anywhere between 60 to 80 teeth. This quality blade has got 48 teeth, which means that, it does a moderately good job of, cross-cutting and ripping, but not optimally, okay? It's not, a designated blade, but rather a general purpose blade with small gullets. The third blade is an interesting one. It's got a 216mm rim size diameter, a 2.4mm kerf, and it's 24 teeth with a 30mm bore center. It's got a negative hook or rake angle of -5 degrees, which means it's perfect for table saws, radial arm saws, and miter saws, as the hook angle prevents self-feeding or climb cutting, which necessitates adding more pressure to feed the workpiece. The bevel tooth angle is 15 degrees, which falls within the alternate top bevel 10 to 20 degrees typical range. So this can be classed as an all-purpose or general purpose ripping and cross-cutting blade with large gullets. So just because it's got 24 teeth, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is a designated ripping blade. On the contrary, the bevel tooth angle at 15 degrees connotes that this is an all-purpose or general purpose ripping and cutting blade. But if the blade type was a flat top grind with a tooth angle bevel configuration of 0 degrees, then it would have been more suited to say that this was a designated ripping blade, which would enable fast ripping and rough cross-cutting, but this is not the case, okay? This is a general purpose blade with an alternate top bevel tooth angle configuration of 15 degrees, which can be used for ripping and cross-cutting. The next blade has got a 250mm rim size, a hook or rake angle of 20 degrees, a bevel of 15 degrees, a 2.8mm kerf, and a 30mm center bore. So, at first glance, the 24 teeth suggest it is a ripping blade, but when you look, a little bit further, the bevel at 15 degrees suggests it is an all-purpose ripping and cross-cutting blade, but not so fast. The hook angle on a typical all-purpose blade is anywhere between 15 degrees to 20 degrees, whilst blades designed specifically for ripping are usually 20 degrees. With 24 teeth configuration, the hook angle on this blade is 20 degrees and it's got large gullet sizes, so I'd be more inclined to say that this is a ripping blade. And so, although the bevel is 15 degrees, which connotes a general purpose ripping and cross-cutting blade, I would be more inclined to use this as a ripping blade, as you've got large gullet sizes, 24 teeth, and a hook angle of 20 degrees. The next quality blade has got a 216mm rim size, a 2.4 kerf, 48 teeth, and a 30mm center bore, with a -5 hook angle and a bevel of 15 degrees. The negative hook angle connotes that this type of blade would preferably be used on a table saw. And the 15-degree bevel connotes an all-purpose ripping and cross-cutting blade with an alternate top bevel configuration. All of the 5 quality blades displayed are specifically for working wood, as you can see on the reverse of the label where wood is highlighted specifically for them blade types. And you can also see that all blade types and teeth are made from titanium carbide. So when selecting your blades, apart from the type of material that you're cutting, take cognizance of the gullet sizes, the number of teeth, the hook angle, the bevel, and what your blades are specifically designed for, in this case wood. So now let's take a look at some other designated dedicated blades, and here we've got the TCX 15 Universal Turbo Segmented Diamond Blade and the TC10 Diamond Blade. The TCX 15 is specifically recommended and designed for cutting concrete products and general building materials including bricks, blocks, pavers and concrete roof tiles, whilst the TC10 General Purpose Diamond Blade is also ideal for cutting curbs and slabs, bricks, concrete pavers and blocks, roof tiles and general building materials. So both the TC10 and the TCX15 are not specifically designed for cutting wood. At first glance, the blade in the circular saw working tool is an economy blade that can be used in cutting wood. It's got 30 teeth with large gullets. Blade installed in the Bosch working tool, which bears the trappings and hallmarks of a ripping blade. But we will be more definitive, in working out if it's a ripping blade once we assess, the bevel and the hook or rake angle. The next blade at quick glance is a blade installed in a DeWalt working tool. It's got 24 teeth, which connotes that it's best suited for ripping. But again, the hook angle and the bevel would help identify or highlight specifics. And so now back to the blade in our Guild working tool. It's got a 2.4 Kerf, a 20mm center bore and a 185mm rim size. And so this is the center bore. You undo it with an Allen key if you want to change the blade. Okay, so again, that's your rim size at 185. Your center bore is at 20mm and your Kerf is at 2.4. This blade has got 24 teeth and it's got large gullet sizes between the teeth, which means that it can be used to move out big chunks of wood. 24 teeth typically connotes a ripping blade, and you can see on the blade it's highlighted that this blade is designated for cutting wood. You also have to wear your ear protection or muffins, your face mask, eye protection or safety glasses. Just pretty much take health and safety precautions and ensure that you read the instruction manual. The National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health recommends that hearing protection must be worn when operating tools with a sound pressure level above 85 dBA or decibels noise level. And you can tell this is going to be a noisy blade because it adopts the open technology, here. The long-term goal of Niosh is to reduce the noise-induced hearing loss in occupational settings. And so, if you want to choose a quiet blade and the appropriate hearing protection, you can check the Niosh database for recommended sound power levels in terms of vibration of the work tool, as well as the sound power levels for the loaded and unloaded conditions of the work tool to choose the appropriate hearing protection and to estimate the noise exposure. The blade installed has got a small teeth and the tooth configuration is an alternate top bevel. The stamped blade doesn't categorically state the hook or rake angle, neither does it state the bevel angle, but we can assume that the alternate top bevel angle is anywhere between 10 to 20 degrees typical. And that's because an alternate top bevel, which is used for all-purpose ripping and cross-cutting, typically has, a bevel angle of anywhere between 10 to 20 degrees typical. The kerf for each tooth is about 2.4 mil in thickness. And here you can see that the blade, which is usually protected by the lower blade guard, extends below the base plate. And you can see that the blade has got large gullet sizes between each tooth. The ATB, or the alternate top bevel, is suited for ripping. The 24 teeth is suited for ripping, but it essentially isn't suited for cutting strips from hard plywood. So we can see that this ripping blade has got a positive rake angle of anywhere between 0 to 20 degrees, and that's because you can see the inclination of the teeth or tooth. You can also use, a flat top grind, an alternate top bevel, or a TCG configuration for rip blades. But for hard plywood, you will be better off, getting a combination blade or a composite blade. And that's because the grain structure on your hard plywood is not uniform, it's haphazard. And so, your composite blades or your combination or general purpose blade will do a pretty good job of ripping and cross-cutting at the same time. So, what quality of cut can we expect if we proceed to utilize this ripping blade to cut strips from the hard plywood? I'd be expecting, a somewhat poor quality cut, with excessive tear out in certain places. I would also be expecting overheating, okay? So, I would be using it to get the job done, but not overly extensively, as I do not want to compromise on the integrity of the blade. I would try as much as possible to keep my hands steady, whilst cutting strips off of the hard plywood. And I will also be adding 3 mil to the depth of my cut so that the blade can cut through the hardwood plywood material at the base here. And with the open technology, around the rim of the blade, as exemplified at the base here, you should be expecting a very noisy operation of the work tool, okay? As this is not a quality blade, it is an economy blade. So just a quick recap, when you're trying to get quality cuts, the blade selection as well as the type of material that you want to cut is very important. Here we intend to get strips off of hard plywood, and so the ripping blade with latch gullets, or the open hole technology isn't the ideal blade for getting strips off of hard plywood. You should be getting a tooth configuration that's got the ATB, which is the alternate top bevel, as well as a combination composite or general purpose blade due to the grain structure of the hard plywood. Click on the link in the description for quality blade material and tooth configuration selection in order to get quality fine cuts, as well as dust extraction configuration or customization, how to use the power rail guide, and risk assessment when using your circular saw. And that's about it really. If you found the information useful, don't forget to subscribe, like and share, helps the channel grow, and hopefully catch up with you later. Goodbye.